After 9.5 months of growing our sweet little boy and a 10.5-hour labor to bring him into this world, I changed. My heart expanded, my empathy and compassion grew by leaps and bounds, and I found more strength than I ever thought it would be possible for me to have. And my body changed too. This is probably the scariest and most vulnerable video I've ever posted, including that one time that 1 million people watched me give birth. I'm about to shed light on every insecurity, everything that I've ever perceived to be a flaw that I stuffed into too tight jeans, plucked, shaved, covered up with makeup, and yes, even on occasion, edited out of photos. Pregnancy is a beautiful thing. Our bodies are a beautiful thing, and it's time to stop acting like the changes we go through while growing and birthing our babies are something to be hidden away or made light of. Here's a raw, unfiltered look at every way my body has changed after pregnancy. Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if this is your very first time here. My name is Megan. So nice to meet you. I'm a 25-year-old mama to a 10-month-old little boy named Rowan, and I post about motherhood and lifestyle twice a week on this channel. We do lots of vlogging, we keep it real, so if that sounds like your jam, I would love it if you would click that subscribe button. So today we're talking about all the ways my body changed after having a baby, and I want to acknowledge that this subject can be sensitive for some people, and while this video is not primarily focused on weight gain or loss or stretch marks, that will be a point of discussion. So if that is not something you're comfortable with right now, no shame, maybe don't watch this video. I also want to acknowledge that while my body has changed drastically since having a baby, I do definitely still experience thin privilege. I know there will probably be people out there who watch this and think like, what are you talking about? You look the same as you did before. I definitely don't, but I do acknowledge that I do still have a lot of privilege in that area, and I just want to let that be known. I think it can seem like body positivity can be easier when you're thin, but I've struggled with body image my whole life, and it's been something that's been really difficult for me, so it does not discriminate. It affects everybody, especially because I experienced so much body dysmorphia in my pregnancy. But we'll get into that in a second. So I'll start with kind of weight gain and weight loss and stretch marks, because I know that's probably the biggest thing that a lot of people want to know about. So to be super transparent with you guys, I was about 115 pounds pre-pregnancy, and I gained 30 pounds when I was pregnant, and now it's 10 months later and I am back to 115, my pre-pregnancy size, but my body looks completely different. I mean, not completely different, it's still my body, but I have extra skin around my stomach. I definitely have like a mom bod, I think people call it, where there's a little bit of like extra, I'm trying to find a way to say that it's not gonna make it feel either shameful or like make light of it. Like I just have some extra volume around the bottom of my stomach. I also did get stretch marks. I didn't get very many of them, and I honestly thought that I probably wouldn't because, you know, it's mostly genetic, and my mom didn't get stretch marks, but I did, which is totally fine. I have one above my belly button, a couple below my belly button, and then like probably 10 lower down. But mostly where I got stretch marks was the underside of my boobs, from my boobs growing to prepare for breastfeeding, and then, you know, during the beginning of our breastfeeding journey when I was dealing with engorgement and all of that stuff. So I got like just tiger stripes all over my boobs. I also got a few extra stretch marks on my hips and the inside of my thighs. They are definitely starting to fade now and turn to that like silvery white, but they were like bright red and purple to begin with. So yeah, my clothes don't fit me the way that they used to fit me. Although I weigh the same, my proportions are very different. I have obviously a much bigger chest, and I have a little bit of a bigger like lower tummy. My hips are a little bit wider. Not only is my chest bigger, but my boobs are a lot saggier. This, you know, is probably mostly because of breastfeeding. You know, they like expand and retract and expand and retract, especially in those first couple weeks as your supply is regulating and stuff. But I definitely have noticed that my boobs are much saggier. I got like a little bit of like grandma boobs going on. Yeah, my boobs are saggy. Along with the boobs thing, I might get demonetized for saying this, but this is for educational purposes. My nipples have changed. TMI, I know, but that's probably why you clicked on this video. First of all, size difference. One of them is much larger than the other, and they're much bigger and darker overall. I have been told that they will go back to kind of normal-ish after I'm done breastfeeding, but I can't speak to that personally because it hasn't happened to me yet. That's something that actually happened in pregnancy. I started noticing those changes, and it's like pretty drastic, so it was a little bit shocking. It took me a second to be okay with that. I'm gonna do a whole video next week on how to be confident in your postpartum body, so make sure that you keep your eye out for that because I have lots of tips in that area, but those are the ways that my physical shape changed, I guess. The next big difference that I noticed in my body was hair. Obviously I experienced postpartum hair loss and I have lots of baby hairs to prove it. Some days I literally have just like a crown of baby hairs that stick straight up. There's nothing I can do about them. My hair is a lot thinner than it used to be, but it's not just that. I also have found that the texture of my hair has changed. So I've always had like a stick straight, very fine, very flat hair. And after having a baby, I've noticed that just the under layer of my hair is much more frizzy, and like sometimes it almost looks like it's been like waved or crimped with like a styling tool, which is super weird because it's not like the top, it's just the bottom layer. I'll be inserting B-roll so you guys can see what I'm talking about, but that's something I didn't expect, and I didn't realize that it was a postpartum thing until I saw another postpartum mom post about it on Instagram, and I was like, oh dude, me too, and I looked it up, and sure enough, it's a thing that can happen. Lots of hormonal changes. But the part that I really didn't expect is just more hair overall. I am sure this is connected to hormones somehow, but I have noticed that I've been hairier since I got pregnant and had a baby. Like I have some hairs underneath my chin, and the area underneath my belly button is definitely a little bit fuzzier than it used to be. I've always been kind of hairy because I'm Italian and that's just kind of how it goes. But I've noticed more and darker and faster growing hair since having a baby. Skin wise, I didn't get like pregnancy acne and I didn't get pregnancy glow. I feel like my skin just stayed fairly normal. But one thing that I noticed that I asked my OB about was that I now have some discoloration on my back. Like I have some like spots basically. And what she told me is that because you have a much higher volume of blood when you're pregnant, you have like 1.5 times the amount of blood that you do when you're not pregnant, which is crazy to think about. It can like burst basically and cause some discoloration on your skin. So I have a few little spots on my back. They haven't gone away since I've had a baby. I don't know if they will, but she said it's nothing to be concerned about. And then another one of the biggest ones, that might be a little bit TMI, but I want you to know, is the downstairs area, which I'm not gonna say the name of because I will definitely get demonetized, which is so stupid because it's a normal body part in a medical term, but I don't make the ad policies. The downstairs area is drier. There has not been a size change. I know there's like a stereotype of like getting like looser after having a baby, and that's not something that I experienced, but I definitely noticed, especially with breastfeeding, again, breastfeeding does affect so much of this postpartum, that it's drier. There's just not enough moisture to go around when you're making milk and down there, which can make being intimate kind of challenging. My OB at our 6-week appointment was like, when you guys are ready, you should get a lubricant because that's gonna make it less painful. So that's what we did for the first little bit. My grandma's probably watching this and like dying. Sorry, grandma. I'm just letting other women know. So yeah, that's something that I've dealt with as well. Trying to think, like head, shoulders, knees, and toes here from the top of my body down. Hair, boobs, tummy, hair, stretch marks. I think that's it. Again, this video is not meant to scare you in any way. These changes are normal and beautiful. I just wish that I had seen a video like this before giving birth because I spent so much of my pregnancy in fear of what I would look like postpartum, which now thinking about it is so dumb. But I think the unknown is scary, and a lot of people don't talk about this stuff. So this is a scary video to post. It's very vulnerable. Please be kind in the comments, and if people are not kind in the comments, I will be turning them off. Hopefully this was helpful to you guys. Try to have as much grace with your body as you can. And again, like I said, next week there will be a part 2 in this postpartum body series on my channel, all about how to love your postpartum body, with a lot of practical tips on what you can do like actively, instead of just kind of like hoping you'll have a better relationship with your body out of nowhere. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully that's helpful as well. I love you guys a lot, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.